Can you talk to us a little bit about the process of getting selected into the Air Force Academy?
Yeah, it is a highly selective process. I did have the baseball route that helped me. I was lucky enough; my grades were good enough. If you do the numbers comparable to some of the Ivy League schools, the admission rates are about the same at the academies. A, you have to have the grades. B, you have to be a well-rounded person. They're looking to graduate an officer in the military, not just the Air Force Academy, West Point, Naval Academy. So that's your application just to the Academy. And then along with that, you have to get a nomination by either a congressman or a senator. So I ended up getting a Texas state senator at the time, multiple interviews. I think about two local in the Houston area. I had to go up to Austin for another interview. So now you get that whole package together. I had to do a PT test administered by a local person down in Houston.
And for those of you who don't know, a PT test is a physical training exercise that you have to accomplish, and you have to meet certain goals, like a running goal or push-up goal, pull up. But go ahead, Matt. I just wanted to clarify
Yes.
that before we move on.
Yeah, thank you. I'll probably have some acronyms.
Oh no, we all do. We're pilots.
Yeah. So yeah, you submit all that, and then it's like any other college application. Then you just wait. So I was lucky enough to get the nomination, get into the Air Force Academy, and then you start. Man, I started about 2 weeks after I was done with high school. Down in Houston, we graduated in late May. So yeah, early mid June, you show up to Colorado Springs and you actually go through a 6-week boot camp. You do about 3 weeks of, hey, here's what the Air Force is kind of a crash course of just learning the basics, stand at attention, listening, getting in line, marching, running, physical fitness. And then the last 3 weeks, you actually you go off campus, still on the Air Force Academy site, and you do you're out in tents, you're building stuff, a lot of confidence, team building stuff, all getting you ready. And then once that's over, it's right into the school year, and you're off to the races.
So there is a preparatory period before you actually start.
Yeah, it's different. It's not, you don't show up in August or September and go right into the academic year. You learn what it is to be in the Air Force. You're not doing a boot camp that a normal enlisted would do. It's run actually by a lot of the same instructors, but it's kind of an expedited crash course. Here's your 6 weeks, but over the next 4 years, you're going to get a little bit of that military training all throughout. But yeah, it gets you ready over the summer. So it's kind of weird that summer after your senior year of high school, it wasn't go enjoy the beach or anything. It was right to it, but I enjoyed it. It's tough. There's a lot of people. I wouldn't say a lot. There are some people that don't even make it through the first 6 weeks. It is a shock.
So there's a lot of people who actually get in and they just weed out as the process begins.
Correct. Yeah, I want to say we had just shy of 1,300 accepted start on day one. And then when I graduated, we had just what do we have? We had just under 1,000. So
Wow.
I would say you probably have 5% or so drop out in that first summer.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you're going to get a lot that drop out around Christmas or the end of that first year. And then the big commitment is prior to starting your junior year. We call it our 2-degree year. That is when your commitment to the Air Force begins. So you get another drop off of people that, hey, it's not right, but there's no ties at that point. If you want to leave, thanks for your time. You can take your credits, go somewhere else, and some people do.
Because that's when you effectively sign the dotted line saying that I am going to proceed with my commitment with the Air Force.
Correct. Yeah. At that point, you owe the Air Force some time, typically in a military service fashion.
Yeah. Okay.
The minimum is 5 years, depending on what job you go to.
When this opportunity was presented in front of you, and you realized quickly that this was going to be very, very competitive, could you talk a little bit about the process that you personally underwent in order to get ready or maybe perhaps prepare? Did you have a mentor throughout the process?
I did. So the Air Force Academy itself has, they're called ALOs, Air Liaison Officers, that they're kind of your point of contact to go to for everything service academies. So I had a local one down in Houston who was a prior retired Air Force officer, and he flew helicopters in the Air Force. And he kind of led me along with, hey, what to expect next, what requirements need to be done, what prep needs to be done. There was the standard SAT prep that you do to try to get the best grades you can for your application, but it was also hey, there's going to be a lot of running that the first 6 weeks. I remember I I played baseball. I never ran long distance. It was only short sprints. So
Right.
running 2, 3, 6 mile hikes and runs in boots wasn't ready for that. So yeah, there was a lot of running, some physical prep. I lost 12 pounds that first summer. Just working out, and I thought I
Nice.
was in shape going into it. So yeah, the air liaison officers though, they are the primary. And every service academy will have someone that you can look for. Go on their admissions website, and they'll tell you, hey, here's some point of contacts to go to and reach out for.
Hmm. Now, throughout your time at the academy, was there a lot of pressure on you in particular because you wanted to pursue the pilot path?
There's certain requirements that need to be met in order to get that pilot slot. The Air Force Academy does get the vast majority of pilot slots every year. It's over 50%, and that's spread across ROTC, OTS, Officer Training School. Um, but yeah, you had to get a minimum GPA. You had to have a certain class ranking in order to get that pilot slot. So yeah, there was always that competition. You're getting graded on, not just on academics, on your military performance, your athletic performance, and that kind of goes all into a number. And you're constantly going against peers. And at that point, also growing up, going through school, uh, some schoolwork was easy in high school for me. Some was difficult. And then I get to the Air Force Academy, and I realize, man, I've got a lot of peers around me who are smarter, and so you're constantly trying to keep up. And early on, I recognized time management was a problem, and I needed to do a lot more studying.
Yeah,
So
it's very fun you mentioned that. I had a very similar experience when I went to Harvard. It was, you were at the top of everything before you get there, and then when you get there, you have this big eye-opening experience where everybody's better than you, or
okay,
it's a highly competitive environment. And if you don't watch out, you can get into depression and all sorts of self-esteem issues. You just gotta, in my personal opinion, anyways, you just gotta keep on going, believe in yourself. Just perseverance, I think, determination is really, I think, the number one thing that I had to follow.
yeah, I agree, and it helps. That first year, you're with a group of freshmen, all in the same squadron. Especially my roommates, Ron at the time, really leaning on your team. There was about 25 of us in the squadron, leaning on each other to get through that stuff. And that's what you were taught early on was, and I think it goes for most of the military is you're not just the individual, it's about the team. So there are gonna be times that you have to reach out and say, hey, I need help with this. And you find that person that's really smart in calculus or whatever it may be, or you find that person that's, can help you with, history, or heck, even athletics, and you pair up with them. And I learned that early on. Hey, I gotta together we're gonna graduate. If I try to do everything on my own, it's going to be difficult. I'm going to find the hard route to get there. Um, and there were days, there were tough days, there were good days, there were fun days. For me personally, like I said, time management. So I felt like that first year I was playing catch up all year. Grades got behind early, and I was just trying to keep up with everybody. But I can proudly say I graduated, and I got a pilot slot.